Sarah had spent 40 years mastering the intricacies of tax codes, finding satisfaction in the trust her clients placed in her. But the office she once found familiar and predictable had changed. The atmosphere had shifted with Mr. Harris's retirement and his son Michael taking the helm. The most significant change was the sudden promotion of Mark, a shrewd operator in office politics, to head the tax department. His ambitious assistant, Rachel, only added to the growing tension. "Hi, my name is Sarah. I've always loved numbers and tax codes are my puzzle, but lately things feel different around here." When Mr. Harris ran the company, things were transparent and predictable. But now, with his son Mr. Michael in charge, the atmosphere has shifted. The office is buzzing with changes, some good, but some unsettling. Mark's promotion to head of the tax department was the most significant change. He's only been with us for 5 years, but his rapid rise doesn't surprise me. Mark has a knack for navigating office politics, a skill I can't grasp. Then there's Rachel, his assistant. She's sharp and ambitious, quick with her numbers, but also with her tongue. How she looks at me sets my nerves on edge, like she knows something I don't. They move around the office like they own it. They certainly have Mr. Michael's ear. I still do my job best, but I feel the growing tension. Mark keeps piling more work on my desk, telling me he trusts my experience. But his trust comes with a side of suspicion, and he watches closely for any mistake. Rachel is never far behind, whispering things that never quite reach me, but always seem to get Mr. Michael. Even though the pressure builds, I know my worth and the value of my work. My clients do too, and that keeps me going. Still, I can't shake the feeling that something is brewing, and I hope I'm prepared for whatever comes next. I'm no stranger to change, but Mark's recent promotion has rattled the office. His new position as head of the tax department is more than just a title. For him, it's his chance to rewrite the rules. He thrives on control, using his authority to intimidate rather than inspire. As I navigate these choppy waters, I remind myself of my decades of experience and my clients' trust in me. This new chapter is challenging, but I'm determined to face it head-on with the same dedication and integrity that has defined my career. Mark rarely interacts directly with me, but when he does, it's always with that thinly veiled arrogance. He'll drop by my desk, scanning my piles of paperwork, always with a critique about efficiency or timeliness. "Sarah, we need to streamline this process," he says, as though I haven't done this for decades. I keep my cool because I know my work speaks for itself. Rachel, his assistant, is always in tow, often pretending to take notes on her tablet while she's actually eyeing my files. Their interactions are calculated, making me uneasy, like they're orchestrating something I can't yet see. She has a way of leaning in and whispering to Mark, sharing private jokes that make me wonder if I'm the punchline. Mr. Michael, the new president, is in over his head. He's young, inexperienced, and too easily swayed by Mark and Rachel's influence. He doesn't have the same insight his father had, and I fear he's more likely to follow their advice than trust the instincts of those who've been with the company longer. The dynamics in the office are shifting, and I feel the ground moving beneath me. Mark systematically changes protocols, subtly reducing my role and influence, while amplifying his own. Every day, the walls are closing in just a little more. Clients that once came directly to me are now being rerouted through him, leaving me less interaction and more busy work. But I keep my head down and do my job. I've survived changes before, and I can handle this too. I must stay focused and wait for the storm to pass, hoping my experience and dedication will carry me through whatever Mark and Rachel have planned. The atmosphere in the office grows thicker by the day, and it's not just in my head. Mark and Rachel's whispers become less subtle, and Mr. Michael's unease is more apparent. My workload increases, but it's not the kind of work I'm used to. I'm being inundated with mundane tasks deliberately designed to keep me occupied and out of the way. Despite this, I remind myself of my decades of experience and my clients' trust in me. This new chapter is challenging, but I'm determined to face it head-on with the same dedication and integrity that have defined my career. Every day, I hope that my perseverance will outlast their schemes, and that the true value of my work will shine through once again. Mark handed over a stack of client files, his tone brisk. Can you handle this, Sarah? We need these reviewed by the end of the week. The tasks were time-consuming, primarily clerical and far below my expertise. Despite this, I didn't complain. Instead, I pushed through, hoping my resilience would prove my worth. Rachel, always nearby, chimed in with a syrupy tone that made my skin crawl. We know you can handle it, Sarah. After all, you're the best. She flashed me a smile that didn't reach her eyes before heading back to Mark's office. The door clicked shut behind her. As the days passed, it became clear that they were working to isolate me. My conversations with Mr. Michael grew fewer and far between, as he seemed more interested in hearing from Mark. When I did speak with him, he mentioned vague complaints about my overtime hours and client dissatisfaction, things I knew weren't true. I began to feel the walls closing in as my responsibilities eroded, with more clients being directed to Mark and Rachel. The anxiety in the office was palpable, with whispers spreading about changes in management and restructuring. The chill of exclusion was growing colder each day. Despite the growing tension, I did my best to manage my workload. I refused to let their schemes break me. The work might be tedious, but I wouldn't give them the satisfaction of seeing me falter. My clients trusted me, and I owed it to them to keep moving forward. I needed to stay focused and maintain my resolve, even though the seeds of conflict were firmly planted. I knew it was only a matter of time before they sprouted. The tension in the office became almost unbearable. Mark and Rachel's whispers became open accusations about my work hours and productivity. One morning, Mark confronted me, his voice sharp. Sarah, there have been concerns about your overtime claims. A hint of a smirk played at the corner of his lips. Mr. Michael wants to see you about it. The accusation hit me hard. Overtime claims. I had always worked my hours honestly and never overstepped, but the implication was clear. Mark was laying the groundwork to force me out. I walked into Mr. Michael's office, nerves taut. He looked uncomfortable, shifting in his chair as I took a seat. Sarah, I've been hearing some troubling things about your performance lately, he began, not looking me in the eyes. Mark and Rachel have expressed concerns about your adherence to company policy. The weight of Mark and Rachel's manipulation pressed down on me. It was clear Mr. Michael believed them, and why wouldn't he? He's young and relies heavily on their judgment. I assure you, I've been following the company's policies to the letter, I responded, my voice steady though my heart was racing. Mr. Michael looked down at his desk, then back up at me. I'm sorry, Sarah, but the decision has been made. I'm going to have to ask for your resignation. My world shifted, and I struggled to maintain my composure. On what grounds? I managed to ask, my voice barely above a whisper. Your hours and client dissatisfaction, Mr. Michael stammered. His words were hollow, but I could see no arguing with him. The decision had already been made, and nothing I said would change his mind. I left the office, head held high. But inside, I was shattered. A few whispered lies had erased years of dedication, loyalty, and hard workies. Mark and Rachel's trap had worked, and I was out. The office around me blurred as I packed up my things, the murmur of colleagues echoing in my ears. I couldn't believe how quickly everything had changed. I left the office for the last time, unsure of the future. But even in my sorrow, there was a flicker of determination. I wouldn't let them break me. Leaving the office that day felt like stepping into a void. My career, routine, and identity are all packed into a small box. I wander home in a daze, feeling like the ground beneath me has crumbled away. The first week is the hardest. Each day I wake up expecting to head into the office, only to remember I have nowhere to go. Once buzzing with client calls and emails, my phone sits silently on my desk. The space I once filled with numbers and calculations is now saturated with a deafening quiet. I spend my days reflecting on the events that led me here. The signs were there. The whispers, the glances, the changes in workload. But I didn't want to believe them. I trusted in my work and reputation, thinking they'd protect me. But Mark and Rachel were more intelligent, more conniving than I gave them credit for. My resignation quickly spread through the industry, leaving my clients confused and worried. I hear from a few of them, each conversation laced with disappointment. "We trusted you," one says. "What happened?" another asks. I do my best to explain, but words fail to capture the betrayal I've experienced. The reality of my situation sinks in more profound each day. Mark and Rachel have won, and Mr. Michael's blind trust in them sealed my fate. But despite everything, I can't let myself be consumed by bitterness. The darkness of defeat can't keep me down forever. As the days go on, a seed of hope begins to sprout. With my newfound freedom, I can redefine my career, goals, and life. The uncertainty is daunting, but it's also liberating. For the first time in a long while, I had the chance to choose my path, unburdened by the constraints of the office politics that brought me down. I consider my next steps, sketching out plans for what comes next. The pain of the betrayal still lingers, but with each passing day, it starts to dull, replaced by a resolve to rebuild myself and my career on my terms. Days after my resignation, I can finally see a glimmer of a new beginning on the horizon. The firm's walls start to crumble. Mark and Rachel, basking in their victory, haven't anticipated the consequences of forcing me out. Clients who trusted me began withdrawing their business, and the once thriving tax department started hemorrhaging revenue. I catch snippets of their distress through former colleagues who keep in touch. "The department's in chaos," one says. "They've lost more clients in the past week than they did all last year," says another. These murmurs spread quickly, reaching Mr. Michael's ears as he finally begins to understand the gravity of what happened. It's not long before he realizes the company is in deep trouble. He starts making frantic calls to clients, reassuring them that the firm is reliable and trustworthy. But it's too late. Without me, the clients no longer believe in the firm's ability to manage their finances. The whispers of discontent among clients roar, and contracts that took years to build crumble in days. Mark and Rachel do their best to contain the damage, but their inexperience and arrogance work against them. Their rushed decisions only accelerate the firm's decline. The same whispers they used to undermine me now turn against them, with employees and clients losing confidence in their leadership. In a desperate bid to save the company, Mr. Michael orders an internal investigation to understand how things spiraled out of control. What he discovers about Mark and Rachel's manipulation and deceit leaves him stunned. The report is damning. Expense fraud, favoritism, and gross negligence in handling client work. With this new knowledge, Mr. Michael acts swiftly. Mark and Rachel are called into his office, confronted with the evidence, and promptly dismissed. The news of their firing spreads quickly, causing a stir among the remaining employees and clients. The firm tries to salvage its reputation, but it's a steep climb. Meanwhile, I'm on the sidelines, watching from a distance as the company I devoted so many years to struggles to recover. Though there's a certain vindication in seeing justice served, I can't help but feel the loss of the career I once loved. Mark and Rachel's fall from grace isn't just a shock to the firm. It's a public scandal. News of their misdeeds spreads quickly in industry circles, tarnishing their and the firm's reputations. The investigation reveals how they misused company funds and exploited their positions to fulfill their ambitions, while mistreating employees like myself. Mr. Michael acts swiftly, determined to restore order and regain the trust of the firm's remaining clients. But the damage has already been done. The office buzzes with the aftermath of Mark and Rachel's dismissal. Rumors swirl about their unethical conduct, and even whispers of their secret affairs seep into public knowledge. After the news breaks, Mark's wife, Victoria, files for divorce. The proceedings are messy, with legal battles over assets and accusations of infidelity. Rachel, too, is thrust into turmoil as her professional and personal reputations crumble. Both cannot secure new positions in the industry, and their names are now synonymous with deception and scandal. Though I had no part in revealing their wrongdoings, there's a certain satisfaction in seeing their deceit laid bare. I witnessed it all from afar, grateful to be removed from the chaos they caused. With Mark and Rachel gone, the firm tries to rebuild. Mr. Michael contacted me personally, apologizing for how things turned out and offering my position back. He promises changes, stability, and a renewed focus on the firm's values. But for me, it's too little. Too late. I've already started finding solace in my new life, helping at my friend's tax office. The pace is slower, the clients fewer, but it's exactly what I need to heal from the upheaval of the past few months. I politely decline Mr. Michael's offer, wishing him well. As I settle into my new role, I find a sense of peace and fulfillment that had been missing for a long time. The work is honest, and the environment is supportive. The scars from my previous job are still there, but they remind me of my resilience and strength. Ultimately, Mark and Rachel's downfall is a lesson in integrity and the importance of genuine leadership. Though fraught with challenges, my journey has led me to a place where I can truly thrive. But I made it clear that I wouldn't be returning. Despite the upheaval and betrayal, there was a sense of justice. In the end, the truth had prevailed, and those responsible had faced the consequences. Mark and Rachel's personal lives unraveled as the dust settled from the scandal. The news of their misconduct in the fire spread quickly, and the revelation of their affair only intensified the fallout. Victoria, Mark's wife, swiftly filed for divorce. The legal proceedings were a harsh battle, with her attorneys building a solid case based on infidelity and financial deception. Their assets were divided, with Mark ending up on the losing end. His former colleagues in the industry, who once respected him, now avoided any association with him. The job market that was once open to him now closed its doors. Rachel, too, felt the sting of disgrace. With her involvement in the scandal exposed, finding a new position became a challenge. Her attempts to rebuild her career were met with rejection at every turn. She was no longer seen as a promising assistant, but as a liability. The story of her unethical actions followed her wherever she went, making it clear that her reputation in the industry was tarnished beyond repair. Meanwhile, I focused on my new life. Working at my friend's tax office was a breath of fresh air, offering a more straightforward, rewarding routine. I cherished the slower pace, the close-knit team, and the chance to work directly with clients who truly valued my expertise. Here, I wasn't just a cog in a giant machine but a trusted advisor and friend. Though I couldn't deny the satisfaction of seeing justice served, I didn't dwell on Mark and Rachel's downfall. Instead, I focused on my journey, taking the time to heal and reflect on what lay ahead. The firm's betrayal no longer defined me. I was free to chart a new course. The past few months' events had made one thing clear. My integrity and expertise were my most vital assets. I was more determined than ever to use them to create a future aligned with my values. The scandal had changed the course of my life, but in the end, it had set me on a path where I could truly thrive. Sarah's story reflects an everyday reality in modern workplaces, where changes in leadership and internal politics can disrupt the stability and morale of employees. With 40 years of experience and dedication, Sarah embodies loyalty and professionalism. However, she now faces new challenges from the newly empowered individuals who may not fully appreciate or understand her value. Mark's rapid promotion and Rachel's ambitious presence create an atmosphere of tension and uncertainty. This highlights the harshness of office politics, where those adept at maneuvering and building relationships can advance, sometimes regardless of the experience or dedication of others. Despite this, Sarah remains steadfast in her spirit and professional ethics. She symbolizes resilience and integrity, contrasting with Mark and Rachel's scheming and calculating nature. Her story serves as a reminder of the importance of honesty and dedication in the workplace, while also warning of the challenges that seasoned employees may face when confronted with unjust changes in their work environment. Ultimately, it is a test of Sarah's inner strength and determination. She faces the challenges with resolve and professionalism, demonstrating that a person's value will always shine through no matter how the environment changes.